Units of the Russian armed forces, having crossed the Kashlagach River, broke through the defense of Aidar battalion and advanced 5 kilometers, reached Shakhterskaya Novoukrainka line. Up to 30 militants, 1 tank, 1 infantry fighting vehicle and 4 all-terrain vehicles were destroyed. Currently, they are fighting with units of the 54th Separate Mechanized Brigade of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, operating in the second echelon. The grouping of the People's Militia of the Donetsk Republic destroyed up to a company of the 53rd Separate Mechanized Brigade of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, completely took control of Taramchuk and pursues the retreating enemy. The grouping of troops of the Lugansk People's Republic has reached the northern outskirts of Lysychansk city and is eliminating disparate groups of nationalists who retreated from Rubezhne city. Operational, tactical and army aviation hit 59 military assets of the Ukrainian Armed Forces, among them 3 command posts, 2 multiple launch rocket systems and 2 radar stations near Bogodukhov city, 2 missile and artillery weapons depots, as well as 51 areas of military equipment concentration. Forpost RU unmanned aerial vehicle destroyed 1 radar of target illumination and guidance of the S-300 anti-aircraft missile system near Vypolzov, 60 kilometers north of Kiev. In addition, air defense means of the Russian Aerospace Forces shot down 5 more Ukrainian unmanned aerial vehicles in the air, including 1 Bayraktar TB2 near Malovorontsovka. In total, 201 unmanned aerial vehicles, 1,443 tanks and other armored combat vehicles, 147 multiple launch rocket systems, 564 field artillery and mortars, as well as 1,248 units of special military vehicles of the Armed Forces of Ukraine were destroyed during the operation. During a special military operation, an employee of the Security Service of Ukraine Main Directorate for Donetsk and Lugansk regions voluntarily surrendered to Russian servicemen. This officer was directly involved in organizing the training of sabotage and terrorist groups to work in areas liberated from the nationalists. The SSU officer provided detailed information regarding all persons involved in conducting sabotage activities on the territory of Donbass. I bring to the attention of all persons recruited by the SSU that voluntary renunciation of criminal activity and timely notification of it to law enforcement agencies releases from criminal liability. In addition, the SSU officer reported on terrorist acts planned by militants of the nationalist Azov battalion in Lvov against employees and facilities of diplomatic missions of the United States and other Western countries. I want to emphasize that the leadership of the Kiev regime is aware of the plans of the nationalists, but does not take any action to prevent their implementation. The Kiev nationalist regime plans to present attacks on diplomatic facilities of the United States and Western countries as an alleged targeted attack by the Russian armed forces. The main purpose of the provocation is to increase pressure on NATO countries to introduce a no-fly zone over Ukraine and provide additional weapons.